You know, I've heard from a lot of people who really like that we're having this dinner. Not all, but a lot. And I said, same. A lot of people told me they loved it, but not all. And we agreed. The people who don't even want us to talk, we don't like you. Don't talk, as opposed to what? Writing the same editorial for the millionth time and making 25-hour speeches into the wind? Really, that's what liberals have? He takes the piss out of everybody else and we can hold ours? Okay, that's my report. You can hate me for it, but I'm not a liar.
So Bill Maher gives a shockingly detailed story about his dinner with President Trump. Liberals rage against the White House's policies regarding pronouns. Another would-be assassin to the president has been arrested, and Democrats side with China instead of the United States. Guys, grab a seat because we have a lot to talk about today, starting with Bill Maher's dinner with the president. Now, we all know Bill Maher is one of those comedians who take shots at President Trump in the name of comedy, right? Although they kind of blurred the line since it exposes their preferred party when it comes to politics. Now, Bill Maher, though, he's been more centric than usual. In fact, he really didn't hold back with his criticism of both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He even went so far as to tell Kamala Harris that she should probably call McDonald's for a job since she lost last year. Now, out of his entire monologue, this stood out the most for me.
At one point, we were walking through it is an amazing tour of the whole house. And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election, because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track, like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine. There were so many moments when I hit him with a joke or contradicted something, and no problem.
Now, there's also another part here where he admits that he wasn't walking on eggshells talking to President Trump, adding that he wouldn't be as comfortable talking to former Presidents Clinton or Barack Obama like this. Now, of course, he didn't say he's going to run out there and wear a MAGA hat in public, but this does show us that a vast majority of the Democratic Party is wrong about President Trump, and that he's open to everyone's opinion so long as they're open to his, which is basically what happened with him and Bill Maher. They also agreed on some key issues like the border, DEI, and removing biological men in women's sports, issues that ensured President Trump's win last year. And hey guys, I keep getting messages from you guys, comments saying, hey Ron, I keep missing your videos. I keep missing the breaking news. Can you please make sure I get notified? So I've taken care of you guys. All you got to do is hit the link in the description down below this video or in the pinned comment and join the breaking news newsletter. That's it, totally free. Now I want to talk about pronouns here because Democrats continue to get pissed off about this. It just kind of reminds me of Representative Sarah McBride and how bent out of shape Bill Keating got when McBride was addressed as a gentleman.
I now recognize the representative from.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
This hearing is adjourned.
So Congressman Keating should probably steer clear of the White House given that pronouns are now outdated. In fact, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is now ignoring emails from journalists who have pronouns in their signatures.
It has been revealed that the White House has said, we are not responding to any reporter who puts in their sign-off their preferred gender pronoun in their email signatures, because they say these reporters are ignoring scientific realities. Now, look, as a member of the press corps, but also as somebody who just, I think accepts reality, what do you make of this move? I think it's hilarious, and also I think it's great. I'm going to put my cards on the table.
James, I had the same reaction you did when I read that story in the New York Times, and you could just taste the liberal tears as the paper whined about its reporters and some from other outlets not getting their emails properly addressed because of pronouns in the email signature line. It was so funny. I mean, this is what they're complaining about. This is what their big, news of the week we're upset about. Given everything that's going on in the world, not just in the Middle East, but here at home, not tons of news going on. It's not been a slow news week, as you know. And this is what the New York Times is upset about. It's hilarious. This is just, it's so funny. And I love that, the Trump administration is, standing its ground.
Now, it really is weird that this is what the New York Times thinks is big news. It's a very simple matter, like you heard. You can taste the liberal tears as these people rage on about this nonsense. Now, what's funny is that they think that this is a bigger story than another would-be assassin of the president. Sean Maher was arrested recently for his posts on YouTube. He uses the name Mr. Satan and had multiple threats of President Trump's life. Between early January and just recently, Maher talked about assassinating the president himself. He also said that ICE are terrorists that need to be killed. Back in February, he posted about taking out people like Elon Musk, Trump appointees, and anyone who, according to him, stands in his way, arguing that they are the majority while MAGA remains as the minority. He also bought guns, body armor, and ammo after President Trump's inauguration. And the most insane coincidence here is that he lives in Butler, Pennsylvania, the exact same place where President Trump was hit in the ear. We know a lot of Democrats did not condemn that attack. Some of them even tried to say that the president didn't actually get shot. This is the lunacy that we've seen from the left as of late. And to add to the crazy, we also have Democrats like Tiffany Cross openly defending China against the United States, saying that China is just a trading partner for our country.
The trade, honestly, the trade is asymmetrical.
And who voted for Donald Trump?
Precisely. Trade is asymmetrical with China. We imported over 439 billion products from China. We exported over 140 billion from China. Their own foreign ministry has said, we will not flinch. We will not genuflect to a bullying government. I respectfully disagree.
You, though, Tiffany, that we rely so much on an adversary to make most of our goods?
Listen, whether it bothers me or not is irrelevant. I'm dealing with reality.
Important, though.
It is important, but this is what it is.
Why does it have to be the reality that we are dependent on so many things to come out of our biggest adversary in the world? They are the enemy, and we should not be dependent on them.
But no, they are not our enemy. They're our biggest trading partner. And if we
they've got rare earth minerals and you don't.
They're the enemy.
Right. But listen, but like it or not, sure, Michael, they are our biggest trading partner.
So while she argues that they're not our enemy, I'm pretty sure she can't say that China's a friend. And when it comes to trade, we know that they've taken advantage of the United States for years. So if we're actually just trading partners, then why have they been so unfair with us, given that we are the biggest trading partner that they have? I mean, I think it's pretty insane how Democrats can just kind of come out and speak for foreign nations like this, although it's not that unheard of since liberals favor illegal immigrants over their own countrymen. And we also have to remember that China is a communist nation. They are corrupt. They don't understand what it means to play by the rules. Ms. Cross wants us to coddle China because they're our biggest trading partner. But that's like throwing away our pride. We need to take control because we've seen how China has spread out its influence over the years. Hey, by the way, guys, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. What's annoying is that people like Cross don't have solutions for our dependence on China. All she's saying is that we should work with them because we need them. But the fact is, we're getting the short end of the stick. And I'm grateful that we have people like Scott Jennings on the show because he dropped a truth bomb on these liberals.
Well, the administration is pitching it just the opposite, which is that they're going to deal with the rest of the world and try to isolate China. So I think they see it very much differently than the way Sanders is pitching it. And I think that's the correct way to see it, because China is the bad guy here. They're a bad actor. Anybody who does business with China, in and around China, knows you can't trust them. They steal your IP. They do things, and then they resell it back here in the United States. I mean, they do terrible things to everybody that does business with them. And so if the net result of this ends up being that the United States creates fairer trade deals with the rest of the world and we end up isolating China, I think it will have been worth it. So I'm in disagreement with Senator Sanders.
So here's the thing, folks. Democrats should leave the big decisions to President Trump. Just stand out, get out the way. He knows what he's doing. So they can go ahead and focus on pronouns while the president does the job that the American people gave him. Now, I want to redirect you to a recent live stream of mine. We talked about something else that the Democrats are fighting for: illegal immigrants. Representative Jasmine Crockett made a fool of herself again as she tried to argue that it's better to have criminals stay in our country than to deport them. Anyway, make sure you guys check that one out. As always, thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.